Good morning, good evening, and good night to everyone out there on the internet, whether you're listening to the podcast or watching on YouTube. Welcome once again to Lancing with myself, the 5-minute weekly podcast with me, Steve D from Tin Star Games, talking about how to be a freelance game designer and creative, especially when you're low on spoons and low on cash and needing all that advice when you're low on sanity, low on the causes of sanity. This week, I want to tell you something very simple, and that's simply don't follow my advice. Of course, I've made 60-something of these videos and podcasts, so I'm obviously putting a lot of advice out there, but advice is, of a limited use. And I think it's always worth remembering that advice can only take you so far. Advice, as that famous song, poem and original article once said, advice is a form of nostalgia. Dispensing it is looking back at what we've done and seeing patterns that might not even really be there. That we do a kind of voodoo perhaps of going, well, that was definitely something that helped me. And the truth is, it might not have. We were just all guessing and beating down the long grass, as I said in the thing. But more importantly, advice, as I say, is personal to the person giving it. And that means it just might not apply to you. And you must never fall into the trap of going, well, that person said that, which means I should do that, without considering who you are first. There's a very, very famous saw about writing that you should try to write every single day. No matter what, set some time aside every day to write so that you're always doing it, you're always getting it done, you're always pushing forward, you're always getting better. A couple of days ago, I set myself the task to not write for a whole day. And that was really hard for me, and it was really important because I was really trying to drive myself to relax properly and let go of the pressure I feel under to create every single day. So for me, right now, write every day is terrible advice. And it's advice I don't need because I'm always writing. I can barely stop myself. So that advice is bad for me right now. Doesn't mean that advice isn't out there. A lot of writers are going to give it. They're even going to give it to me. They're going to go, you got to keep writing. Just keep writing every day. They don't necessarily ask questions. When someone says, this is my advice, they don't always, go, well, tell me who you are first, right? Because it's a one-way medium. They're not having a conversation with you. They're just going, hey, here it is, which is what I'm doing now. I'm just putting it out there. But I don't know who you are. And as I said about 30 episodes ago, you are the expert in you. So what is advice? What did we use it for? That's something you need to figure out as well. When I was a young artist, I would go through a lot of writing advice, but also writers' history and writers' backgrounds and tips and suggestions. And I wasn't actually looking for a path forward. What I was really looking for was a kind of magic feather, or rather a piece of my soul or DNA. If I could just recognize something in something they said that told me that I was like them, that I had this magic gift, like a secret birthmark or something, that I knew I would have the destiny to become them. So if I heard that, hey, they were bullied at school, oh yes, I was bullied at school. Or they read a lot of fantasy books, yes, I read a lot of fantasy books, yes, that's me. I can be a writer. Then of course they'd say something that wasn't me at all, and I would go, oh, hang on. And that was particularly true if it was something that I couldn't do because of an advice. Like, I remember watching a thing about, I've forgotten his name, Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman talking to the kids back at the drama school that he attended. And the thing he said is his advice was, of all the kids in his class, people always say he's really, really talented. He said, of all the kids in my class, I was the first person to apply, for every job going and put myself out there and get a headshot. He was the first person to do all that sort of stuff. And I remember watching that at the time and going, oh God, I can't do those things. I can't apply for jobs. It's too hard. It's too scary. And it was. I was really up against the wall. I had tons of executive dysfunction and self-esteem issues, and I couldn't do any of that. And that told me that therefore I couldn't go any further. And I hated Gary Oldman for a week because I was like, how dare you? I can't do it now. Gary Oldman says I can't do it. I can't be like that. I might be a failure. Now that advice is still good advice, and I do it now. Because now I can jump at it and throw it out there, and I'm doing every single thing, and it helps. It really helps. But at that point, 20-something years ago, when I heard Gary Oldman say that was bad advice for me then. So, not Gary Oldman's fault. Love his work. You might hear something I say that doesn't work for you. You might hear things that say that actually make you go a step backwards and make you think, oh, I'm not doing that. Don't take my advice if it ever makes you feel like you are going backwards. All right? You're always going to be going around in circles a little bit, but anything that pushes you back on your path is not the right advice for you at that point. And be aware that you are going to change. Your life and your style and your preferences and the way you work and all these things are going to change. So it might not be the right advice for you, because you are a person in a moment in time, and you will change and you'll be a different person, a different artist. And just the fact that I'm not you and I'm in a different part of my life and I'm in a different part of the journey of my art process should tell you very clearly that you can't always take my advice. All I'm doing is throwing out some nostalgia, some things that work. Maybe they'll work, maybe they'll help, maybe they'll inspire you. But don't ever let them take you back, okay? Think about Gary Oldman, you know, he was crushing to me then, he's great for me now. And, you know, he's Gary Oldman, and even he, to my ears, got it wrong, okay? So if Gary Oldman can get it wrong, then any piece of advice can feel wrong. And it's the advice that's the problem, not you. You'll find a way to find the advice you need and keep moving forward. But don't let any advice send you back. That's the message. Till next time, I've been Steve D. This has been Lancing with myself. Be good, play games, pat dogs, have fun.